Back to your calls. Norman in Dartford. Come on, Norman, sort it out for us. What have you got for us? You're the Boutros Ghali of North Kent.
Yeah, I think Trump wants out of it.
You think so?
I think he's organised this tonight.
Yeah.
And what he's going to lay the cards on the table of what went on Friday. And then he's going to say, they'll start to it. And he's going to say, righto, well, I'm out of it. It's down to you.
Yeah, possibly.
And then we'll see what the convention of the willing are willing to do.
So he can then say with confidence, he tried.
Yes, of course he will. It's the only way he's going to go. I've tried to follow it, which is a bit difficult at times, but having been you do negotiations, there is a step where you think, I can't go any further.
True. And
you end up, if you're sort of leading it, you say, well, that's it.
Yeah.
And people say, well, we're not having that. You say, righto, then someone else has to have a go. And I think that's what he'll do. So he'll walk away.
Who's going to... So what does that mean in reality? What does that look like in terms of him walking away going, sorry, guys, we gave it a go. You two, bang your heads together because you can't come up with a solution. What then happens in reality, Norman?
Well, I just think without Trump, and Trump means America, they'll cave in. I really do.
You mean Ukraine will cave in?
Well, they can't do it on their own.
No.
And anyone thinks these European leaders are going to stand by anyone, they're living in cloud cuckoo land, to be honest here. Can you imagine Macron and the German bloke standing, all right, we'll go to war with Russia? Because what's the alternative?
But is it not true, and I ask this as a question rather than a statement, that if you took the military of all of those European countries, we could whop the hell out of Putin if we wanted to?
They haven't got the guts to do it, Ian.
No, you're bang on.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit cruel, but that's my feelings. They haven't got the guts to do it.
Yeah. There it is. Listen, Norman. Norman's in Dartford. Norman, what have you got for us? Hi.
Ian, well, I spoke to you one time about the old boys' table around the golf club where we all put the world to right.
Yeah, absolutely. What's going on at the old boys' table?
Well, with two or three of us have not been very well, but it got regenerated on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And this subject of a civil obedience, of disobedience come up. And we was all amazed that it hasn't happened before. Several of us were activists in the 70s and 80s. So, and we thought, well, what we're putting up with this two-tier justice system, the actual flood of immigrants everywhere you go. There's men all over the towns just standing around doing nothing. I mean, I worked nights basically all my life, and when I walked through Dartford, there would be hardly any men. Now, it's like a bloody football crowd, and none of them are English. And I think we're thinking that the country's absolutely changed, and unless we get someone in quick who can do something, I think it's gone. The
left-wing argument against what you just said, Norman, is as simple as...
They don't have an argument here.
Well, it's as simple as this. There is one argument they have, and it's quite funny, actually. They would say to you, Norman, what's wrong with any of that?
Well, what's wrong with it if these people are unemployed? That's what's bloody wrong with it to start with. And out of my pension, I'm still bloody paying tax.
Yeah.
At 85. That's what's wrong with it.
100%.
And other people are unemployed. I can't understand how the trade unions are standing for it.
Well, the trade unions are in an interesting position because, of course, in their usual beating heart, they wouldn't dare to sort of dip their toe into this territory. But I think they're now looking at certain situations going, hang on a second, this is affecting our members. And that might be when, there are some trade union voices, Paul Embry and the like, who we'll speak to later this week, will be coming on, who are very much concerned about all of these things.
Which was part of our thing in the 70s and 80s, where it was called the the government was causing unemployment.
Yeah.
And that was the be and end all of the trade union movement.
Sure.
Was protect people's jobs.
Protect people's jobs.
And let it happen.
That's it's kind of strange, but it goes back to that whole groupthink thing, Norman. Listen, great call as ever. In Dartford, back to the population question, Norman. What are we going to do about this?
Well, the population question, I think the lad from Reform, he did give you a reason why people are not having children.
Yep.
Which was because it's the country's getting poorer.
Yeah.
The quality of life is not what it was when I was younger.
Nope.
Nothing like it. So that is why people are not having children. I mean, my grandsons have got two each, so they're abiding by the rules.
Doing what they're meant to do.
If it is rules, if you know what I mean. But what I really want to talk about was the BBC. I rang you up about the Glastonbury thing.
Yes.
And I explained to you then that I believed it wasn't a mistake, it was deliberate.
Yep.
And it proved to be so.
It was.
They had this bloke on the list. They knew who he was. What was his name?
Not Bob Villain, was it?
No, something like that. Anyway, you know what I mean. Right, so then you take what this lady, head of news, said today.
Yes.
It's incredible that they are so arrogant that they think they can do exactly what they like.
Yeah.
And that goes for this Gaza business with the young lad from Hamas.
Correct.
But, right? And that shows you they wouldn't have mattered to them if they knew who that boy was. And I've my doubts about that. But they just go ahead with it. Well, what does it matter? We'll just do it anyway. No one ever gets sacked. No one. The people just have to pay and pay and pay and keep these people employed on massive wages. You see what's come out today with Michael McIntyre and, oh, bloody hell, they dish out millions like there's no tomorrow.
How did we go from population to this?
I don't know. Well, that's the subject.
I was just trying to think. There we were talking about demographic statistics, and now we're on to Michael McIntyre's pay packet.
Well, it's all... Well, I was talking about to the lady who answered the phone about the BBC. I rung up when that first come up.
Yeah.
When you said about had this lady on, and I just don't know what the BBC should now straight away be sort of privatised or sold off, anything. But we should no longer have to put up with these people having to pay for them.
100%. 100%. Listen, Norman, love it. Thank you very much indeed for that. That is Norman in Dartford. We darted across some subjects in Dartford. Norman, you're a sensible man. Can you solve the problem?
Well, you're going to be surprised, Ian.
Go on.
But I'm sitting here with a smile on my face. As an ex-FOC in the print, I predicted this last year.
Okay.
When Wes Streeting was walking around trying to persuade everybody he was God's gift to negotiations, I told everybody they'll be back next year, the doctors, and the next time, and the next one will be Mick Whelan and Aslif. They're all lined up. He lined them up last year, giving them a 3-year deal that most people didn't understand.
True.
But the 3-year deal was backdated for 2 years.
Yeah.
22% for nothing.
Wow.
Nothing asked for. And this has been so predictable. But, of course, this government, they're all so wet behind the ears. It's incredible.
Well, we know that much. How do they solve it, though, Norman? What's what can Wes Streeting say to these doctors? They're standing there in front of him saying, Mr. Streeting, we require a 22%, a 20-odd% pay increase, despite the fact that they've had a pay increase over 3 years, but, they're asking for more. What's his options?
Well, he hasn't. The point was he done himself in last year. You see, because what they're going to think? They're going to think if we keep on, we'll get the 29%.
Yeah.
They think that. I mean, I don't want to see them go on strike. It's just that the way they've gone about things, it's so predictable.
Sure.
You know, and he's got to talk to them and try to persuade them somehow that what he can afford to pay them. But this was laid last year.
Yeah, you kind of wonder, don't you, where this can go, other than absolute carnage.
I'll be honest. If I'd have been junior doctor sitting there last year, I'd have thought, blimey, mate, you'll do for me, son. I really would have done. I'll be honest with you. I was 22 years at it, negotiating with governors, and I couldn't. Well, last year I thought, you must be the biggest mug in the world, and sure enough, he was. And he's proved it.
There it is. We will wait and see. Thank you.
I don't know who they took advice from.
You kind of wonder. You kind of wonder, don't you? If
to be honest, yeah.
I mean, the government has said, look, you were ordered a 28.9%, just shy of 30% pay rise over 3 years, and that would be enough. And they're sort of arguing, no, we want some more, because they say they're seeking restoration of pay, which they still argue is a 20% real terms pay cut since 2008.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, you can go...
You can play that game all day, though, can't you? Can't everybody play that game? I mean, I don't know if you're entitled to always say, well, cost of living's gone up and inflation has changed, etc. I mean, I don't know whether... I think we could probably all argue to a degree of a pay cut if you analyse that.
Well, I've never come across anything like it in the 20-odd years I was negotiating.
Well, there you go.
I've never known a governor...
Yeah, I'd imagine you were a tough old rascal, Norman, in your days.
You learn from experience, Ian.
You certainly do. Great call, Norman. Thank you. Always nice to talk. That's Norman. Norman's in Dartford. Back to that issue of free speech. It all feeds into this. Isn't it funny? There is an underpinning correlation between so many stories these days. Norman, what have you got for us? Good afternoon.
Well, I'm more talking about the Gaza business and the BBC.
Yeah, the BBC. Bob Villan.
I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was deliberate.
By the BBC?
Yes. They knew what was coming. No one's going to tell me, there wasn't people there who could pull the button or do it. That's absolute nonsense. They now have gone to their heads. They think they're bigger, more arrogant than ever, and they can do and say exactly what they like and get away with it.
Do you think they would have specifically known about the chant, the death to the IDF? Do you think they might have known?
Anything could have happened. You know it's going to happen. Something's going to go on when that band has been known to the BBC for 10 years.
Yeah.
That bloke.
The band?
Last night.
The band have been known to the BBC for 10 years?
Yes.
Have they?
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody knew who they were.
Well, this bloke was known to the BBC all that time ago.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder if, I'm not here to defend them, obviously, but I wonder in what context he was known.
Look, you don't work in that sort of business, this entertainment business, and not know what's going on. If you do, you shouldn't be in it.
Well, you would, at the very least, you would have known that somebody is going to say something that could probably go above the line of free speech into some kind of hate speech. You'd have to be stupid to not know that. I wouldn't be staggered because it's the BBC, but the idea that there wasn't a meeting of minds that said, look, it's a live feed and we've got a real issue here, potentially, so anything that crosses that line, we understand free speech, even if we don't like it, but anything that crosses that line, we pull the plug. They must have. Wouldn't you expect, Norman, that a meeting like that would have taken place?
Well, of course it would have done. I'd take that as read. It's incredible what people think, they could have done this. They had no intention of doing it.
Yeah.
No intention whatsoever of doing it.
But that suggests that every person involved in the production, and there's probably hundreds, would all been of the same thinking?
No, but there's only a certain number of people.
Well, there would have been a producer that could have said, cut this now. That's a fact.
Well, yeah.
There would have been a producer that could have said, right, we've just... The moment the guy got the first line out of death to the eye, bang, that could have gone.
Of course it could. But
and then the BBC could have said, look, as soon as we heard it, we got rid of it.
That's it, but it wouldn't have been okay then.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't do it. And I've said it's deliberate. I can't see any other reason for it.
Well, it's so illogical that it draws you to exactly that position, Norman. I get it. Thank you, as ever, Norman in Dartford. Let's get a word from Norman in Dartford on that issue of the riots and what's happening in Ballymena. 4 nights on the trot, Norman. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Ian. I'd like to draw your attention to what happened on Question Time last night. We've reached a new low in politics.
Was this Darren Jones?
Yes.
I didn't see it, but all I know is that his name is floating around social media
he said
the measles.
Yeah, he said the majority of people coming over on small boats are women, children and babies.
Did he actually say that? I saw somebody quote that.
No, he actually said it.
Where did he get that from? That's palpably not true.
Well, it's a barefaced lie. And if he's still in a job come Monday, we're finished. Because if a politician, a minister, cabinet minister can go on the television and tell a barefaced lie like that in front of an audience, and a television audience, we have come to, well, I cannot believe how low we've got. I'm absolutely fuming.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, the fact that he said it is one thing, but the greater clue that it gives you is how or where politicians lay their colours, what they really think. So Darren Jones clearly made that up because it's not true, but he made it up because he wants to think it's true. And these are the people representing us.
Well, that's what I mean.
This is a man he's not in an insignificant role. He's the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, for goodness sake, and he's coming out with lies on Question Time.
Yeah, but not just innuendo, barefaced lies.
Yeah.
Barefaced lies. I mean, it's incredible.
I've now got. You see, the trouble is, you've now made me. I've now got to watch Question Time on the train on the way home.
It's absolutely incredible that a minister can sit in front of an audience and say that.
Yeah.
I find it. I don't know how the television's said in one piece. I was absolutely fuming because I don't normally watch it.
Oh no, I'd love to have been round you. Did you have a beer while you were watching?
No, good job I didn't.
I was going to say, that could have been carnage in Dartford. We might be discussing a different story today.
What I want to do is take Rachel Reeves to a pub.
Yeah.
Like she had a jive at Nigel Farage and it'd do her a power of good. She wouldn't have to be there long for tell her what really...
I don't think she'd get away from being there, with being there very long, to be honest. Norman, great stuff. Thank you for that. I'm going to have to see... I did see this on... I gave up on Question Time probably about a decade ago. I caught last week the very opening of it. Annabelle Denham was on, who often comes on with us. So I thought I'll just clock what... But they spent so long before they got to Annabelle. It was about 20 minutes into the show. I've noticed they do more with the audience. I hadn't spotted that before. That was the first time I'd seen it. For about 8-10 years or something, in any meaningful way. I've just seen clips online, and today I noticed lots of people referencing Darren Jones, and I did see that remark, and I thought, that's, he probably didn't really say that. He probably said, and someone's made it up, and they've extrapolated one thing and posted it on, you know what social media is like. It's such a minefield of lies that is probably not true. But there we have it from Norman, who was watching, fuming in his Dartford armchair yesterday as Fiona Bruce's big show rolled into town, only to discombobulate Norman's head. He ain't going to get over that for a few days, I can tell. Norman is in Dartford. Norman, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Ian.
Afternoon.
Well, answer to your question, should we trust reform?
Yeah.
I'll answer, who can we trust?
Yeah, it's a fair point.
I mean, I don't think anyone will ever trust Starmer.
Do we expect too much, though, Norman, do you think? Are we expecting something that can't be delivered?
All I ask for is quite simple, for people to tell the truth.
Yeah.
At best, he's deceptive, deceives his people. At worst, he's an out-and-out liar.
Well, I mean, even he wanted to be generous and say he's just rubbish. I mean, the winter fuel, a Labour government, as Neil Kinnock once said when talking about the kind of militant tendency. a Labour government cancelling the winter fuel allowance. I mean, you could not write that into anything and it be believable. But that's what they did.
Well, that's because they don't believe in anything. And the Conservatives, well, yesterday there were several ex-MPs on and former Conservative advisors. There's thousands of these advisors about.
Yeah.
Saying about bringing back Boris, the man who hastened the decline of the Tory party.
Well, that's where the rot set in. But this, I mean, again...
No, the rot started with Cameron.
Quite possibly. I mean, there's a good debate to have there in terms of what you might call pure... Cameron led down the middle like a Blairite government, right? I mean, I know there's lots of people that would disagree with that and go, oh, yeah, but what about all the stuff he did financially and all the areas where they cut off spending or benefits, etc., which was not, I mean, bad if you're those individuals, but it was never the picture of Armageddon that some people painted. But Boris was the man that had a majority and should have been the Prime Minister for the next 10 years, right?
He was the last one for me. I mean, I voted for him, and I voted Tory, well, nearly all my life, really. Yeah. And with him, I thought, this is it. We're now going to get somewhere. And what did he? He didn't do anything. He had no intention of cutting down immigration. Mm. He once, all of a sudden, he's gone all eco and wanting everything net zero. He was the main person.
He was absolutely,
wanting back.
He was completely locked in to the whole net zero thing. It was, he gave so many speeches about green stuff, and the man was as obsessed with it almost as our current as Ed Miliband. Nobody's as obsessed with Ed Miliband. It's a religion to young Ed, but he was certainly up there. Listen, I've got to shoot, Norman, but thank you very much indeed for that. Norman, how are you doing?
Not very well now. I cannot believe this amendment will be defeated tonight.
Do you think so?
I will think it will take this country to a new low.
Yeah.
It really will, morally.
Well, we're going to have Labour MPs, people from the left, whose entire ideology. But they're the ones saying that, we're the caring part of Parliament. We're the ones that care about stuff.
Well, yeah, that's always been nonsense.
Well, of course it has.
I don't take any, forget all that.
100%.
But we fought a war to stop this.
Yeah.
And people like me lost family members.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And bear in mind, we are led by a human rights lawyer. What sort of a man is Starmer?
So a human rights lawyer is in charge of the country, and he's allowing a deal to take place with China that is going to sell us solar panels that have been manufactured by slaves. I mean, you can't even begin to kind of make, I know it's a well-worn phrase, to make it up, right? I mean, it's in another stratosphere.
Well, we're sinking into the sewer.
Yeah.
This is the biggest low ever. And I just find it, I hope the media hammer every MP that comes on who's voted for this.
Yeah. Well, there'll be the same people that...
But, forget the BBC. They won't even comment on it.
Well, they're the same people, the same MPs are the same MPs that voted to get rid of the winter fuel allowance, that, voted and support and will go into radio and TV studios and support the increase in council tax, the issues around the farmers, and they're just the sort of ones that we see the headlines of. And there'll be many other areas of policy like this that those MPs who were the part of the moral good and great, but they're happy with the slaves. Listen, Norman, thank you very much indeed for that. To the big issue of the day. Norman, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Ian.
Good. Fire away. What have you got for us?
I think in this country we have a very serious problem, and it is the lack of trust.
Yeah.
And it started before Starmer with the COVID business, and then we now have a lack of trust in politicians.
Sure.
The police.
Yep.
The judiciary. And I've never known it before like it is now. And
why have we...
population feel like that?
Yeah, have we... have we kind of manufactured some of that lack of trust? You know, when Trump used to talk about don't trust the media, you know, the media, fake news, all this kind of stuff. And sometimes he might have had a point, but mostly he never did have a point. But there were times when clearly a news organisation hadn't been honest. And I know the American system is slightly different to ours, but that's become a bit of a thing here. Don't trust the media, the mainstream media, this crazy legacy media term that half-wits have started to use. I mean, it's, you know, what does that even mean? But it seems to have taken a grip. You're right.
I don't blame the media for this at all. If you look at the facts of how things were, well, the COVID thing, you know, it was all done on modelling.
Yep.
You know, we didn't know that, and then they were told to model the worst case scenario.
Yep. By
this Burke from Imperial College, was it?
I think so.
Somewhere like that.
That's often where these things come from.
And now you get this business with the Just Stop Oil and wrecking roads that would never have been allowed before, ever. Never been allowed in my lifetime, which is now getting on a bit. And then you move on to, well, this business with Southport. I don't know if you watched this business in Southport when Starmer laid the reefs or whatever.
Well, yeah. It was a big story at the time.
I've never seen anyone so cold.
Yeah.
The crowd's there. I mean, it's no good saying, well, he should have adjusted them, but he walked in and he laid the reef, his head was down, and he turned round, he never looked at a single person, and he walked away. And people got the impression, I got the impression, was he couldn't give a toss about that.
I mean, I think, you know, I'd like to think as a human and as a father, he would have been as disturbed on a personal level, but as a politician, he's just not a good politician. And I think, and thank you, Norman, for your call, because you've raised a load of stuff there that each point you raised could have been a phone in itself.